But officially Wolf of Tacos, it was October 20th, 2020.
Okay.
And it rained. It rained.
Classic.
It rained super hard. I was doing tacos al pastor for $1. And people showed up in the rain
Amazing.
on the first day.
Have you decided what you're going to get?
Oh, yeah, definitely we're going to get one of each.
One of each. Got it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of One of Each. First of all, thanks for supporting us. Remember to subscribe, to follow us, to like us. And without your support, we wouldn't be doing this. So thanks in advance. And today I don't have one, but two amazing friends who have probably one of the most exciting food concepts in the city. Pablo and Eduardo, welcome to One of Each. We've spent so much time together talking about what we guys are doing, what you guys are doing. You've been a supporter of Lengua since day one.
Of Glutonomy.
Of Glutonomy also, thanks a lot.
Since 2016.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been following you guys and having your food. And I mean, it's great. We're going to talk about it. So it's a pleasure to have the force, the spirit, the guys behind the Wolf of Tacos. And maybe some people even, they know you are Wolf of Tacos and they don't know sometimes your name or something like, hey, Wolf of Tacos, how's it going? So I'm sure that had happened.
That's happened a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, welcome to One of Each. It's a great pleasure to have you. And as we were talking about it before we went live, you have a strong following. People love your concept. People love your food. But some, like you are super young. And some people sometimes don't know the story behind what you're doing today. We see the amazing food, the hard work, and a lot of people would love to know like what's the story behind you, how this came to life. So I think this is a great space to share that story. So again, Eduardo, Pablo, thanks for taking some time from your super busy agenda to be here and sharing that story.
Thank you, Nitel.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I always start, we've had here like chefs, people in the industry, and the common connection is that the love for food starts sometimes at home. There's always a grandma, a mom, a dad, a neighbor who plants that seed. Is that your case too in terms of like venturing into the food industry? And it's a life choice, no? Dedicating your life to this work.
For me, I think it was a good balance of passion and necessity.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky enough to have a family that did know how to cook, that did know how to season their food. So I was exposed to a lot of good food at a very early age, and I think Pablo was too.
Yeah.
He's been able, I mean, you traveled, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I've had the privilege to be able to always eat out and have different other like experiences throughout the world. So I'm super lucky to have seen that from such a young age too.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So you were exposed to different flavors
Yes,
and to
all
the,
the time, yeah.
hospitality industry.
Exactly, but I actually got into it through a different method. I got into it because of photography and film, and I realized that I love photographing food and being in this world, and that's what made me like so interested in this industry that was so new to me initially.
Nice. Where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Miami.
And
I was born and raised here in Miami as well.
Okay, but you have Latin parents, no?
Yeah, I have Mexican parents, and I moved here when I was 3 years old. Yeah, I was a baby still.
And then I'm first generation, but my parents are Colombian.
Colombian.
Yeah.
So, but in your houses, like, did they cook like Colombian Mexican food, or like was it a thing, or you grew up being in Miami, like exposed to like more like diverse Latin flavors?
I grew up knowing that the best Mexican restaurant in town was my mom's house.
Oh, nice. And that's usually the case. It happened to me also with Lebanese food. Yeah.
Nice.
And in your case, I relate a lot to you because I love traveling and going to restaurants, and like I really enjoy hospitality, and that came from I think you start going to restaurant with your parents basically.
Of course,
no?
yeah.
And my parents would take me to wherever they would be going, and like I wasn't allowed to order like kids like I don't know like.
I don't think we
tenders,
wanted
fries,
to.
fries.
We didn't want to.
Exactly.
Not that we weren't allowed, but we
Yeah.
definitely didn't want to.
Exactly.
Why on earth are we eating that garbage when we can have
And
the rest of the menu?
Yeah. And I remember like I grew up in Maracaibo and we would travel to Caracas. And I'm still like a big soccer fan. So I was watching like the Serie A, the Italian Serie A. And all the ads were like about restaurants in Caracas. So I had the list. Like I was like 10 years old and I had list. So every time we went to Caracas, I was like, Dad, these are the restaurants that we're going to go.
That's amazing.
That's what he's really good at that.
Yeah, also a huge soccer fan here, yeah.
Amazing. So tell us a little bit of how the Wolf of Tacos was born. I understand that you started it and then you joined.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit of the origins of Wolf of Tacos. You mentioned it's a mix of passion and necessity.
Yeah.
What was the trigger to start?
The passion part is I bought the equipment I used to start the business when I was 15 years old. I actually
knew you wanted to do
I
it.
knew that I wanted to make tacos very young.
Did you know how to make tacos when you were 15?
Of course not. But I knew how much I loved them.
Okay.
And I know you were trying to bring in like the purpose part of why I do things and the passion, but it didn't come from my family. It actually came more from the lack of tacos in the States. So it wasn't that my family was providing beautiful meals that I wanted to replicate. It was more of I was frustrated because I couldn't get it. I couldn't replicate it.
And how was that process of starting, like the recipes, the menu? Like, did you know what you wanted to do?
I knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted to make al pastor.
Okay.
I needed to make al pastor. It was the one thing that no one outside of Mexico in different cities, like no one could get right.
And did you have like a target or like did you go to a place in Mexico City and try the pastor and said, okay, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, it was almost like a routine. It was, I arrived to Mexico and straight from the airport, I'd go to El Fogoncito.
Okay.
Immediately. So nice. I didn't want to go home to see my family now. I was like, no. Tacos al pastor.
And then
and it became a thing, yeah. My mom knew at that point. She was like, okay, like we're just going straight to El Fogoncito because I don't know that I missed that because I had the privilege of traveling to Mexico 3 times a year.
Okay.
Twice a year usually for summer vacation and for Christmas. So I could only eat tacos al pastor 2 times a year, and that's not enough.
And what about the recipe development? Did you have any like formal knowledge of like did you go to culinary school? Did you train with anyone?
The recipe development, that specific recipe, I did the math. Took me about 6 years.
Okay.
I haven't even been in business for 6 years. 6 years because, I would test it, taste it, try it, work at a new restaurant, figure a new technique, try it again, and try it again. And I worked at, I think, 14 or 15 different restaurants. I always forget. Like whenever we start drinking, I'm like, I remember when I worked there. Or whenever I meet someone else in Miami, they're like, oh, where did you work? And I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
And do you remember? I love reading biographies about music, and they always say like that first time when they're playing. Sometimes it's like at friend's house with like 5 guys watching or something. Do you remember the first day you set up your trompo? And like say, okay, people, this is the Wolf of Tacos, so maybe you didn't even have the name then. That okay, I'm doing tacos al pastor. Come and try my tacos. Do you remember that day?
There's some days that I remember that I wasn't the Wolf of Tacos yet.
Okay.
And I was just doing a pop-up like Chef Eduardo Lara.
Uh-huh.
But I remember the day, the most important day, the one that we're treating like our anniversary, because technically I guess I've been doing this for longer than almost 5 years now. But officially Wolf of Tacos, it was October 20th, 2020.
Okay.
And it rained. It rained.
Classic.
It rained super hard. I was doing tacos al pastor for $1. And people showed up in the rain.
Amazing.
On the first day.
Great. And Pablo, when did you join Eduardo? Did you know each other from before?
No.
How was that relationship?
No, but we had a lot of like coincidences that were just like it made us like come into the same place at the same time. Like it was all too coincidental.
We should
how
have known
everything
each other. I
happened.
mean, we both went to Miami private schools.
Yeah.
We both shared friends. You know,
yeah, and people in common.
people
Only
in common.
friends, no?
Friends.
Friends.
And then, but no, I mean, we should have met years ago, but I'm
Yeah.
glad we didn't because now we met at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, ever since I got into photography, I had like a food blog here when I was like 15, and it like actually picked up steam. Like I started getting invited to restaurants like to eat for free. They never paid me, but at least they gave me like food credit. I was like, oh my god, this is actually a thing. And then I moved to New York for culinary school because I realized how much I would love to go into this industry.
Okay.
And I went into like the management and hospitality school at ICE at Institute of Culinary
Okay.
Education. And then as soon as I came back, I was like, I'm ready to work. Like, let's find a place. And thankfully, through some connections with my dad, I ended up at Cruise Kitchen, and that's where I met Eddie.
Okay.
And so, yeah,
So with Sebastian.
with Sebastian,
Oh, nice.
exactly. Yeah.
Cruz was the last restaurant I worked.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because then we worked together for a bit. I was front of house. Eddie was the chef, and then
Okay.
we were the ones like cleaning the dishes at the end of the night. And we're just talking about like, dude, what do you want to do with your life? Like everything. Like I remember having those vivid conversations.
We would talk about it all the time and listen to music. It was great.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think that's when he told me finally that he had this like pop up.
Yeah, he actually never went to my house pop-ups.
Yeah.
Not a single one.
Well, you never invited me.
It was
I'm just letting you know.
That
He
was,
trusted-
that was
he-
foul. That was
he
foul
didn't
on my
have to
part.
taste. He
False
he
call. False
trusted.
call.
he never invited me, but it's fine.
I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, I don't know, but he never actually got to see the house pop-ups,
Yeah.
and those are legendary.
And how did the name the Wolf of Tacos came to life?
It was creative ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
She did come up with that, and then it was my landlord and I and my ex, and we were all figuring out what to call it, and it was perfect. And then I came up with a concept because of the Wolf of Wall Street connection. I wanted to sell very high-end items and very low-end accessible items. So like
Okay.
the pink slip, the blue chip stocks, and the penny stocks.
Yeah.
So I thought it was perfect because that's kind of like the division of tacos in Mexico. You have the higher end tacos, and then you have the really cheap tacos at peso.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to serve both at the same time.
Okay, nice. So from those pop-ups at your house, you left like professional kitchens, and you say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. What? I mean, because of course, day one you don't have all the resources. You need to book your nights. Being a pop-up, it's like you have to be in that constant wheel of finding new gigs and
That-
loading, unloading.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Thankfully, though, it was never an issue to book gigs at the beginning. I think I said yes to absolutely everything. If it made sense or not, we just said yes.
Yeah.
And that's how I became. That's how I became popular because
Okay.
I was the person. I was the company, the concept that people could depend on for anything.
okay,
Because in Miami, a lot of people say yes, but then don't execute.
or don't show up.
Or don't show up.
Yeah.
So thankfully, those people didn't show up, and then they would give me a call, and I would show up with
Okay.
like hours of notice. So I became this problem solver of sorts. It was less even about the food and more about how fast we could react.
Okay.
So the first year, when I say first year, I mean like the first year when Pablo started working for me, because he started working for me first.
Yeah.
The first year was just yes, 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 and we would
Okay.
deliver.
Okay.
And then that's how we became known with different production companies, different venues. Actually, some venues that we still work with today,
Okay.
clients we still work with today. We just became the yes people. So that was I think that's why we're even around still.
And you are partners now.
Now we are
Yes.
officially
Amazing.
partners.
Yeah.
Like I think I
3 years.
yeah 2 years. Yeah, 2 years after that we became partners.
Amazing. And how was that process? Because one thing is doing tacos al pastor, having like a truck with a grill and a trompo and going to places, buying stuff, selling stuff, but building a sustainable business with a cost structure, with staff. Now you have a commissary kitchen,
We kind of have that.
Huh? Yeah, with like inventory, storage, all that. Was that like your role to like bring, I don't know, some like business mindset?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because when I first met Eddie, we were doing.
You're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I believed in him, and I still do, by the way. I believe in him so much, and I know how talented of a chef he is. But when I first got there, we were doing festivals and events out of his house.
Out of my house.
Yeah, and
Wow.
so he basically retrofitted his house to be a fully working commercial kitchen with commercial equipment, like the whole thing.
And we would do a significant amount of volume out of my house.
Yeah,
And that was all the prep was being
All the
done
prep.
at your
Because you know
house.
how you just said yes to stuff?
Exactly.
And, people didn't know we didn't have a commissary. So I was just like, yeah.
but
But we
when
would
it came
execute.
To, yeah, but when
We
it
would
came to
execute.
washing dishes, it was in a sink this big.
I would just
and
buy more dishes.
So yeah, that's how we started creating that inventory. Because instead of washing the dishes
Buy.
miserably, we just buy more
I'd
and
be
buy
like, yeah,
more.
no, I'm not doing that. I'm
So
buying
yeah,
more.
but then I in a more serious note, I did see Eddie, and I was like, man, you need help on the other side. Like, let me take that off your shoulders. You need to focus on the food and do what you're incredible at, and like focus on the food production
Yeah.
because
And that's
I can
how, great concepts come to life. I mean, just to name like the most probably iconic, which was 11 Madison Park with Daniel Hum and Will Guidara. Or today we see Sonny's where Will is in front of the house with amazing team, and then Carrie and Aaron are in the kitchen, and you see the magic happening in those concepts. So I believe that's your philosophy in terms of because
Or Neven and Mo.
Yeah.
That's a
Exactly,
great one.
exactly.
Love those guys.
Yeah. So, and it's important for you to have the space and the creativity to like look after the quality of the food, the
Yeah.
menu and everything, but then knowing that there's a machine in the back that's well oiled and profitable or
yeah.
The guy that makes the trains run on time is,
exactly.
I think, was a quote.
Exactly. Great. And now I don't think you're gonna be doing pop-ups all your life, or is that the business model?
Is it a great business model?
I mean, I think the pop-ups, like, they are so inherently what Eddie started.
Uh-huh.
And I think they do have, like, a magic to them
Okay.
that I think we both realize that even though the goal is not to be in the pop-up world, we don't see ourselves letting it go, ever.
Okay, even if you end up having like a brick and mortar
No, we can't.
restaurant
We
or
can't.
restaurants,
Yeah.
that's for you the essence and the life of
For
of
sure.
tacos.
Yeah.
It's because no matter how many millions of dollars we spent to outfit a kitchen to mimic it, you can't mimic it.
Yeah.
We still want to be on the street.
Okay.
There's that. It's an ingredient.
Okay.
It's different. You can't put that in a box.
And how's the dynamic with the people who follow you, the people who eat your food? Like being of course, a pop-up or a street concept also allows you to give probably like a more affordable check, or to reach like being a democratic concept. Like we spoke in Lengua last year. I don't know if you remember when Chef Micha from Maido said, okay, I have this top of the world restaurant, and how do I democratize the delicious food that I make? But you were born as a democratic, good for everybody concept. No, like you can have like the richest person or like a young student and in the
Right.
same line for the same
taco.
And I think that's what taco culture really is. It's the fact
Exactly.
that it is so.
Are you wearing the new shirt?
I am wearing the
Stand up and turn
Where's
around.
mine?
Stand up and turn around.
I have some in the car.
Show them the-
Okay.
Like that's the whole point.
Tacos bring people go a little bit more to the. Oh, there you go.
Hey yo, it's twerking on film. Can you even see that?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's
We should have put it on the front.
That's been
Yeah.
my motto from the beginning. I think.
Yeah.
and it's true because even in Mexico City or others, it's the way it is. No,
Yeah.
you don't have like, I mean, there's some like fancy tacos, but
Yeah, but
The-
the street taco is
yeah,
for
it's-
And
everyone.
then
Exactly.
my whole thing was like, why not both?
exactly,
Especially because this is like the first taqueria in Miami. You know, the first real one.
Yeah. And how, because you have a very strong following, it's a love brand, the one that you have created. How do you think that, what was the secret sauce or the key element for you to become like a loved brand in Miami? Like a lot of people follow you wherever you are as a pop-up people. You have like a following that goes wherever you are. And also, I think you brought tacos at a time in Miami there were not that many options, and thankfully we have great friends who are making amazing Mexican food. I think we still need more, but I moved to Miami 10 years ago and I couldn't dream of having like a decent taco in Miami back then. Like, do you think, did you open the doors or eyes to other chefs showing like, yeah, there's space for taquerias here, there's a market for street tacos, there's a market for high-end Mexican? Like, what was your role in opening the Mexican food market in Miami? If you think
I think our role was more of raising the bar of Mexican food in Miami. I've seen a lot of other places kind of follow our strategies. I mean, part of the cool thing about being a pop-up is we can activate in many different locations, and therefore gather a lot of data. You know, you can see how our menus work in different demographics.
Okay.
Right? And also we change the perception of food in also all these different places. So our reach was very great also. You know, I think we were able to hit anywhere from South Miami to Fort Lauderdale all the time. And now people have a better understanding of the food.
Okay. And I think also being a pop-up gives you the opportunity to try different recipes, see what works, what doesn't work, have specials. Like, you have that flexibility, in your menu. And how's that, like, what's the process of, like, maintaining your menu, like, up to date, or you prefer to keep it classic?
No, we prefer to
How
keep it
does it
consistent.
evolve?
I think the
Okay.
keyword is consistent.
Yeah. And we've gotten it down to like what we think is our 6 tacos are now what we like. Like, that's our structure, because I
Okay.
feel like it hits every mark. We're extremely accessible. We have vegan, vegetarian options always.
Okay.
But still staying true to
but
the
it's
original
still staying
concept.
true to the concept, yeah.
Okay. Nice. No, it's very interesting to see how you evolve. But one of the things I like the most about Wolf of Tacos is like, no matter, of course, you have to have the business rigor and everything, but I see that you're always having fun. and I think that's...
that was to your last question.
sauce,
I think the secret sauce was that, is the fact that I think we've created a culture here within our team that we like prioritize having, like, we'd rather you have a really good attitude and be enthusiastic to work than you know how to grab a knife, basically. And I think molding people into that first, and then teaching them all the very teachable things like cooking or all those technical things
Cooking is a skill.
Is a skill, exactly. But I think we've gotten to a point where we have a team now that like really believes in what we're doing. They are just as enthusiastic as we are every day when we go to serve tacos, and they realize that it is a fun experience, and it is interesting because, like, as a pop-up, there is no hiding behind anywhere. Even if you're in the kitchen, on the pastor, on the grill, whatever job you do, you have to be talking to people, and you're constantly in the view of everyone, which I think is...
There's no hiding.
There's no hiding.
Not
exactly.
on the plate.
Which is, I mean,
not anywhere.
And we've hired a bunch of people who have like insane pedigrees and worked at so many crazy restaurants.
Had 2 Michelin star chefs run our line.
Yeah, literally.
I swear.
And it's you can tell that it's so out of the box for them to be working there, and it's such a different system, and it's so cool to see people like from literally all walks of life or all backgrounds and pedigrees and experience like work together in the taco stand. Everyone is like has to come together to this really new out of box like feeling of just or constantly being in the view of everyone. It's nuts.
Or having like jaded old line cooks come thinking they can run the world, and it's just like, what is this?
And it's a different base and everything, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Diego
It's
was
tough service.
Yeah, Diego was saying when he came here that you cannot teach a chef how to be a good person. You can teach him how to cut an onion, how to clean a fish or something, but you cannot teach them other things. And I think that's your case. I mean, if and I think it's the secret for like successful business. Even I do it at Glutonomy. Like there are some things that you had them or you don't, and then you can learn how to design. You can learn how to slice a trompo. You can learn those things, no?
For sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but do you keep going to Mexico often? See what's going on there. Like where do you get inspiration?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You
we
went
definitely try
recently.
like yeah.
Uh-huh.
He went like
yeah,
way later.
Yeah, Eddie took me for the first time like 2 years now ago, and we tried. Eddie was like, "Oh, let's go for a weekend," and I'm like, "I'm not going for the first time next City for a weekend. I have to be there at least 2 weeks,
At least, yeah.
And so what? He
were there for 2
And
weeks?
that's what you
like
did?
a week and a half,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. And we did, and we ate at I think 70 different restaurants.
Okay, the original
like,
itinerary was insane. I was like, yeah, we could eat 6 restaurants a day. That's just like a bite at each restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, pre-dinner, post-lunch.
Bang bang.
Like, yeah, lunch. Yeah, no. We did that successfully for the first
for
2
the
days.
first 2 days, and
and I think
gave
we
up,
couldn't
yeah.
we couldn't eat anything afterwards.
Yeah, but we did try to make as much,
Okay.
get as much information.
As I
inspiration.
say, all these like food trips that we do, like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
And some people like, you go to Mexico and you want to like drink all the tequila, all the mezcal, have all the tacos, and then the next day you're like, oh, I'm
Every
at the
time.
hotel.
That would happen to me every time I'd go visit my family.
Yeah.
I would go crazy the first day and then be sick in bed the next 2.
Yeah, no,
I've learned now
it's a marathon.
some control,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's how.
restraint.
I think finding time in our busy schedule to go to Mexico is always a priority for us. Like we have to we really do always have to go back
Okay.
because there's always places.
Any favorite places in Mexico City or other cities in Mexico for tacos?
For tacos el fogoncito is, I think, my benchmark for
Okay.
pastor.
I heard, I love the Vilcito, but I heard is not as good anymore. Did you go?
But I mean, I don't blame them.
we did go,
To
yeah.
the Vilcito,
doing-
one in the car.
They're doing
in the car
hundreds
shop.
of pounds of production. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cut them some
And-
slack.
I know, and I think when we went to Vilcito, I think for me, Fogoncitos Pastor, when
Okay.
Eddie told me, I understood why he had that ratatouille
Obsession.
moment. When he tried that. But I think for me, the one that we liked the most was El Turix.
But it
Oh,
takes-
but that's like completely
Yeah,
Yeah,
different.
but it's
That's
not even
a-
Mexico City
and
style
it's not even
tacos.
what I'm trying to do.
there's
Yeah, I know.
Panochos, no, the
Yeah,
The
one, from
Panuchos.
Panuchos, sorry,
Panuchos,
yes,
yeah.
Panuchos.
Which was so funny because I
So
thought
good.
it was gonna be I didn't expect that to be my
The
favorite
place
taco, but it was.
doesn't look great.
no, the guy like the
Yeah,
picking
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not for
everything with his
the
hands.
It's not
But
for the
it's-
faint of heart.
But it's so good.
or a weak
It's so
stomach.
good.
No,
And now there's like taco places became in Mexico City like full restaurants, or now there's like fancy tacos like Launcemil. That
but I like that.
yeah, you have to have those options. I tried Launcemil a little while ago. Well, not 6 weeks ago or something. My last trip, and they have a trompo of I think it was ribeye or
Yeah.
sirloin that was insane, and it's not. I mean, for a taco, and of course, the good thing of living in Miami, everywhere we go, we're like, oh, this is so cheap, because things are so expensive here. But it was an expensive taco for Mexicans, but it was still like cheap for Miami standards, and it was great.
excellent, yeah.
And you can have like 3 pesos tacos or
Yeah.
Or 60 pesos.
60 pesos tacos. No,
Yeah.
no 3 pesos tacos, no. But maybe I
10
don't want to try.
pesos.
Yeah,
Taco de 10
pesos.
pesos es como el
Sí,
límite,
exacto,
yeah.
yes. So,
Taco de pesos como que,
yeah, exactly.
where's the dogs?
Yeah. And I also tried the maisajo my last
Oh, yeah,
trip.
super nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love the space there. I mean, I think it's
Those are definitely on the mood board,
uh-huh.
on the storyboard. I don't know, what's it called?
Mood board, yeah,
Mood
yeah.
Mood board. Yeah.
You haven't been yet.
No, you
We have to.
Yeah.
I
Maisajo
always-
and Semil. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Compachava.
Mico-
Oh, Copachava is amazing.
Can't believe we missed it.
Fumbled that,
Yeah. We,
Oh, so good.
I shed a tear. when
There's
we couldn't go.
that's a whole different category for me, like mariscos.
Yeah.
You have Don Vergas, Compachava, La Guerrerense.
Yeah, we went to Don Vergas.
Uh-huh.
It was like a coin flip, but I think it was because they had a fewer weight. That's
Yeah.
what-
No,
Yeah.
What I like about, I mean, I think even though they are both mariscos and everything, I think Compachava, I think one is from Jalisco and the other one, I don't know where. Like,
From Sonora,
yeah,
Sinaloa.
I think Compachava is more like salsas, like Tabasco, like versus stir sauce, like salsa inglesa, like those flavors, where Don Vergas is probably more like, like salt, lime.
Or
But
like,
I mean, they're both great.
Mm.
I always tell my wife, I don't know, like, it's like less than 3 hour flight to Mexico City. Where like we should be able to go like one weekend a month.
Yeah, I would love
so.
that. That's the dream life. Yeah,
there's no excuse not to go more often to Mexico City.
I
And
agree.
even Yucatan is like hour and a half
It's
Oh,
true.
wow.
to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to Merida, and it's
I've never been actually,
it's
or it
insane.
might have as a baby.
I need to go back to Yucatan. The only time I've been to Merida was in the middle of COVID, and I tell everybody like you wouldn't believe it. My first dinner in Merida was from Oxxo, and we bought like tortillas Bimbo with like sliced ham and cheese. Like we made little rolls.
Sincronizadas.
Yeah, in that wasn't COVID. It was like nothing was open, so that was my first dinner in Merida.
Oh man,
Crazy. And I mentioned before, like, me personally, I would get tired of doing pop-ups all the time because of the, as I mentioned, loading, unloading, finding new gigs and everything. And sometimes you think, okay, if this is my space, this is my house, I want people to come and maybe offer a different experience or a more elevated experience or something. Have you thought of having like a brick and mortar space where, and it doesn't need to be Wolf of Tacos. Maybe it's something else.
We
No,
think about it all the time.
yeah,
yeah, it's absolutely on the plans.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
But it goes back to how do we put the street experience into a building?
okay. So if you open something brick and mortar, you still want to have that
We need to.
street.
We
Okay,
need to
you
have
don't see
that.
yourself like
And
opening
not-
like a fancier Mexican
not
concept.
and not in a
Not for the first.
Okay.
Yeah.
not in
okay.
like a cheesy sense where it's like looks like a street,
Uh-huh.
but more of like the breaking the barriers of
Uh-huh.
front and blending the front and the back of the house
Okay.
Just as we do now. Yeah.
as we do now. Yeah,
Okay. So that's something that it's in your mind
which
and
is
working on it.
which is why we haven't done it. Because we haven't found either
yeah, I think
the
we're
right space or
we're like really picky when it comes to, especially on the first one.
Extremely picky.
And so because of that, because we don't want to lose that essence
Yeah.
of the pop up.
But it's good that what you're doing because I mean your current business is already ongoing. So if you wait 6 months, a year, or 3
also
years for
have-
that right space, it's
we have time. We're not even 27.
crazy.
We have a lot of time.
Yeah, believe me.
So I
From
think-
a 52-year-old guy, you are. I mean, you're good. You're okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just like every time we get a little stressed, or every time we get
angst
we
builds
get
up,
the
yeah.
itch, and like because one of our other friends opened the restaurant, or another pop up turns into a brick and mortar. It's just like breathe. It's just like, dude, we do it right. We do it exactly the way we want, and that's it. Because we don't compromise. I mean, that's kind of our whole thing. We do not compromise on quality and on our concept.
100%.
Yeah, and now I haven't tried it, but I saw you're doing like a sister concept with burgers. No,
The burgers,
Yeah.
yeah. We run it during music festivals.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, we had obviously the Wolf of Tacos, and then at Factory Town specifically, and for 3 Points, and all these big music festivals. And I think you brought for family meal one day or something, or
I made
made-
Lucas a burger.
oh, okay.
I was like, Lucas, I got, because we do all the production. Everything's
Okay.
pretty much fresh in house. So the trim from the ribeye taco, I would just save it. One day I ground it up and turned it into a burger, and it was the most delicious burger
Oh,
ever. Pretty much 100% ribeye burger. It was insane.
Yeah.
what type of burger was it? Like is smash, like
Nah.
classic?
Classic.
Okay.
Just a little smaller, Like I love a juicy burger. I love
I agree.
like Le Tub in Hollywood. There's no other burger like that around here.
Does the world have too many smash burgers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we need another smash burger concept? I don't
Because I don't know. I don't think because I don't think the world has enough taquerias, but I feel that the there's more stories to tell with tacos than there are with a smash burger.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, I mean, there's space. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good smash burgers, and
For
we
sure.
have some good ones here in Miami. Um, but I also like a fat restaurant burger. I'm thinking
Yeah,
Red
no,
Hook
no.
Tavern in New
Exactly,
York
yeah.
or things
And
like that.
So
Ted's Burgers would make me a special
Okay.
of that.
Oh, really?
He would see me, he'd be like, I got you. And I was the only person he would make it for.
yeah,
nice.
he wouldn't.
He would
smash
do
it,
like
yeah.
a double size, and
No
like the
smash it.
king of smash burgers in Miami would just be like, nah, it's okay, I got you. He would make me the big boy.
Nice.
I
But
love
yeah,
Ted.
but I think the Bear Burgers, we took that and we wanted to take like a very classic approach, like to the slider style, White Castle style,
Okay.
because it fits so well the high volume kind of
Same model.
setting. Yeah, exactly the same model where you're just it's the grilled onions, the pickles, like very
What
limited.
sauce do you use?
Well, it's called bear sauce because we
like a
couldn't come up with
Dijonnaise.
a better, but it's
Okay.
called Dijon. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically
no,
Dijonnaise.
it's not that we couldn't come up with it better. It's just it's perfect.
Honestly, it is for everything.
Okay.
And then our whole menu was inspired on the alliterations. Like we can't name any other sauce that it doesn't have a B. So we have buffalo sauce. We have what? Bear sauce.
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. What was the other one? Come on, we have one more. It was
Oh, the bear jus.
bear jus, bro.
Like instead of au jus, yeah.
So now you created like the base for the hospitality group. Then you'll have
Right,
I don't
the
know,
zoo.
the
The
cat
zoo,
of
yeah.
hot
The
dogs,
zoo.
the
I
raccoon
know.
of poke.
I really shot myself in the foot with that one
But
because
it's all been coincidentally like film or
Film,
TV
yeah.
inspired, yeah. Because like obviously the bear and the wolf, Wall Street.
Wolf of
So
Wall Street, the
So
bear.
what will be next?
Something definitely not an animal.
Come on, from a branding guy, you
That's
have
so
to stick
funny.
to the animals.
maybe for,
Nah.
for the music festivals we can
For the
have fun
music
with that,
festivals,
yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have fun with it. Like I want to do a noodle thing just because I love eating. That's my drunk 2 a.m. meal.
just
a big bowl
noodles,
of
cup noodles.
Maruchan with butter and
And I think that's something we were talking
and
before.
ribeye trim.
We were talking before how Miami has evolved, and we went from having none or with, I mean, maybe not many to respect whoever was doing tacos here 10 years ago. We didn't have that many options before. Now we have good
amount,
options,
yeah.
better options. I think for Asian food, we're still like that's a pending task for Miami, and yeah, we have the tam tams and too many too many sushi omakase. Sorry, probably.
You got tacos in the mind.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I miss like more noodles, more like spicy Korean, Thai,
yeah.
Vietnamese.
And I think that's something that's like I think that's a little bit about what we and why we bonded so like closely is because we realize that Miami is such a new city and it still
Yeah.
has so much room to grow and have all those places that we are all yearning for. And I think that's why I feel like we are the people in charge, like not us, but like our generation is in charge
We
of
feel
like,
responsible.
We feel responsible for creating that identity that all these other major cities in the U.S. have. Like
Yeah.
New York has Katz Delis and Russ and Daughters. These
We want
people
to
that are
become
generations
those
of
institutions.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those like family-run places that are still the same, and it's just that's what I feel like creates the culture. And I think Miami is like is growing towards that now, and it's cool to be a part of it.
What do you think it's because again we are I say we I've been living here 10 years. Miami is a young city. I mean,
Yeah.
100 something years ago, old probably, and I've talked this with many chefs who've been like in this table and outside of this space. What's Miami's cuisine, South Florida's cuisine? They said Floridian or other names. What do you think? I mean, again, coming from two, with all respect, two 27-year-old kids who are in the food industry, who are starting a business in the food industry, what do you think is Miami's culinary identity? Like, is there one? And if
I mean, Norman Van Eyck kind of defined it.
Yeah.
You know? The father of the new world cuisine. I
Mhm.
mean, I mean, that's a very classical approach because, you know, you take the local ingredients, you take the local cultures, then you form your cuisine. And I think, I mean, yeah, that I believe that is.
Yeah, and I think like something about especially our generation of people is that every single person that I know and I grew up with is a first generation immigrant. We don't. Everyone that I know comes from a different background, and I think that is going to create its own avenue and its own lane in like 50 or 60 years now that we've actually soiled, like planted our seeds and like built our grounds.
And I'm very eager to see how will that look. Probably you'll see it. I won't, but I'm talking about 60 years. But yeah, like we have all this wave of people from like Venezuela, Mexico, Colombia, who are now we are first generation, but we're gonna have families and descendants and everything, and how that how that ecosystem will look like in 50, 60 years, and what's like Miamian cuisine if there's one. Is it like all the food that we eat now with mango and mamey, or is it like a mix of arepas with tacos?
I think it's honestly because like at least what I see you doing is the fact that you're grabbing inspiration from such like classic Mexico City food, but putting your own like new twist on it because of the experience you've had here in Miami.
True.
And like that, I think that's what it is. It's like taking what your family brought over to you and how you started basically here, and then putting your own twist on it because of your life experiences here and because of
your ingredients
and the ingredients here. Exactly.
It's kind of how El Pastor was born.
True. Exactly. It's a recurrent. It's
Lebanese
a cycle.
Friends.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We're like, let's use pig.
Exactly. Like, do you have any in your menu any taco that it's like a tribute or to
Not
Miami?
Not yet.
What would that be? Like,
don't know yet.
Let's create now the
You want
Miami
to do it right
taco.
now?
Yeah, right now.
That's a crazy thing. Usually everything that I put is a lot of thought behind.
Stay tuned.
But I mean, I don't think I ever had the poblano taco in Mexico City. Like I think
that's definitely something that I invented.
That was a creation. Yeah, so
that was a
creation.
creation.
That's
okay.
you. Yeah,
that is a creation.
That's the vegetarian one that I had last time.
One,
yeah,
the
so
vegetarian,
good.
which is really popular now, and that went through so many iterations.
Oh, too many iterations. Yeah, but I'm glad we finally landed on one.
It's delicious. It's a staple. I guess you are right. I did invent something. That's crazy.
Yeah. Great. So how do you see? I mean, we talked about other concepts like the Bear of Burgers and hopefully opening a brick and mortar space in the future. Is there anything like in the back of your minds that it's like, I don't know, keeping you awake or curious? Like, and it can be food related, personal, like what gets you going, or like what's next for you?
You first? I'm still thinking of my answer.
What's next? Well, I've always known what I wanted. I want to build a hotel, man.
Oh yeah, you have told me that. Yeah,
like you mentioned the hospitality group of being the zoo. It's like that's why I said I shot myself in the foot because I've been dreaming about the hospitality group since way before, and I see myself creating, using the hotel as a platform to tell my stories, specifically Latin ones. Just because I am Mexican and I missed Mexican food in Miami. That's kind of why I started my whole business. And I think the hotel would be the best way to tell a story because you can control absolutely everything.
The experience.
Exactly. So I know we talked about why we're on the street still, and it's because of the context. I think the context changes everything. Like we're serving the same quality of proteins that some of the highest end restaurants in Miami serve, but because it's on the street, like that makes things a little bit more difficult. So context is extremely important. So what better way to elevate than if I can control every single part of that context from like the moment you walk into the door, like the smells, the design, everything. So I ultimately just want people to feel that Mexican hospitality.
Nice.
And I think for me, I mean, again, I didn't get into this because I mean I love food and I have a passion for it, but I'm not like it isn't like I think it's more broad for me. And I think kind of going back to what I said, I think what's keeping me going is that I feel like there is a responsibility for me and for people that I work with and all my peers who are in the same boat that we are, to really leave an impactful leave with impact on the city that we grew up in and gave us basically the opportunity to do whatever we wanted, and that my parents didn't have before, and stuff like that. So I think that is what I want to do. Is I want to like really set the identity for what Miami should be and what we all want it to be. And I think we're part of that cog.
Great.
No,
and
I think that's 100%. And like, yes, I know I talk about a lot of Mexican hospitality, but I think Miami, we should work on Miami first.
100%.
Because I think it was, I don't know, we're still riding on Miami's heyday from the 80s. Like, people still think like, oh yeah,
we're not like
South
that
Beach,
anymore.
and
Yeah.
it's just, dude, no. Like, even our own residents were rejecting spring breakers and people, and we just want to build something that's ours.
And it's beyond food, and it's cool because now we're getting to that age where we see our fellow peers opening up bakeries and opening up places, and it's cool that finally these people are in the position of power, are in the position to make and take responsibility in their own hands and really show and express themselves even outside of food. Bunch of local musicians here and artists and photographers. Like, there's so much creativity in Miami that like I really hope they flourish and they give back to the city here rather than going away and showing it to other people.
No, and I'm super excited about what's going on. I mean, if I look back 10 years and what's going on now, like this generation, and of course we have the Michael Schwartz, the Michelle Bernsteins are like
institutions.
Institutions that paved the road
100%.
for what's going on now. But seeing the diversity of what's going on in Miami in terms like there's guys like, I don't know, Recoveco doing like super like nice delicious food with a very stylish, very, I think it's impeccable. Then you have so many different like pop-up concepts and street food concepts from different like some Asians, the yakitori tacos and so on. You have like pop and mom independent restaurants opening here and there, and I think it's very exciting. And finally now we have this Miami identity that's pushing forward that wasn't here 10 years ago. No,
100%.
Yeah. What's
and I think it's also because of the quality of people that are moving to Miami now.
Yeah, and you said something that is very true before. It's about raising the bar.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to open a taco place now, I know there's Wolf of Tacos, there's Taco Tomia.
Yeah.
There's even Bistro Ocho with Pancho and Mauricio are doing like a little bit more refined Mexican food. There's Steve with, of course, Taquiza now opening the place in Little Haiti. And I think now, like, you want to do tacos in Miami? Dude, check this out. I mean, you gotta be at least at this level. And I think that's amazing, no? But talking about Miami and what's going on, like, what excites you about what's going on in Miami? Like, without, maybe if we leave somebody that we don't mention here,
well, when I say that people coming in, I mean we're no longer tourists.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and right now I think not right now, but Miami has been more designed to trap tourists. I mean, literally tourist traps.
Exactly.
And the people that live here, that's not enough. And yes, we have to raise the bar because we want a city that we can enjoy, and we simply don't enjoy things that are only exist for immediate pleasures.
No, and there's a price point, and like I feel sometimes that this is a city that it's being shaped to cater like the luxurious,
to the luxury,
and then
this is a slippery slope because I know like I know a friend of ours always says like, you know, a city's a city when they have a $1 slice.
Exactly.
But I know Alejandro is over there thinking, well, a city's a city when they have a $1 taco.
Yeah.
So I'm like, $1 slice. Yeah, I mean, I would love to make $1 taco, you know?
Yeah.
And I think eventually we will make a concept that is even more accessible, more
Que sea
utility.
taco de canasta.
More utility. Yeah, exactly.
More utility. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And talking about Miami, what excites you about the city these days? Like where do you go? What concepts you enjoy?
We have our usual
we have
suspects.
we have the normal schedule. Go to Dante's in the corner, and then we go to home. And we go to work, then we go to Dante's in the corner, and then we go home.
So it's more on the mixology.
Yeah, we don't have time to eat because we are normally working into the late night. So I think that's why also I want to open a taqueria because taquerias are open till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And I need more of that. I want to be able to eat my own food at 5 a.m.
But I mean, if we are going to eat, like we went to Sonny's recently, it was
Sonny's
great.
is incredible.
Obviously,
Delicious.
R.I.P. Jaguar Son. That was in our rotation before.
That was
always.
okay. So it was work, Jaguar Sun, and the corner.
Yeah. That was our original.
And in the corner
rotation.
because they have incredible hot dogs and grilled
Yeah.
cheese
And which you
sandwiches.
probably
the hot
should
dogs
not
at the
have
corner.
said.
I'm
out
going
loud.
to shout them out. Susie, I'm so sorry. Yes.
The hot dogs are
No, the
incredible.
good thing about Sun is you can still go without having a reservation or having dinner.
True.
Then
No,
go
of
to the
course.
bar, have 2 martinis, and
I love
then
that,
go
yeah.
to that
corner,
resort.
yeah.
The natural progression of Miami. Just everything gets funneled into that part of the town.
Exactly.
I would love to open a taqueria right next door. That'd be
Dude, what's
amazing.
going on there? It's Rodney Scott is opening and Mike Pirolo is opening. In
Oh,
the
but that's
same
in
street.
that's in Little River though.
Yeah, and Sonny's.
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about.
Club space 11.
Oh,
the
okay,
corner.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that block that would be awesome.
Yeah.
because the whole city just funnels there. Yeah,
You want to meet someone? Go there at 6 a.m. You'll see them.
have a taco. Have a taco.
How about that?
First date at the taco stand. Yeah.
Great. No, guys, it's been great. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share, something, any thought, any news you want to announce? Nothing?
Well, I think just the.
Should we? Are we gonna sign that LOI?
No, I don't think so yet. I think just right now it would be. I think just right now
that
it's
other one, that other
Yeah.
one. Nah, dude, right now we're all over the place. But
which is exactly why I think the important thing to shout out is that like since we have been so all over the place, it's hard to find us. It's kind of been like our whole thing that it's like
it's not hard to find us.
well we're everywhere, but then we're also nowhere at the same time. You know,
We're at Zay's on Tuesday.
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Now we have a full
Kind of hard to
fledged
explain. Yeah.
like
we have
you
a
can-
residency.
at Zay's.
But
Come on Tuesdays.
Which is right across
Come on
my
Tuesdays.
office. So
Yes, come
Yeah.
on Tuesdays. Like we're there weekends, but I don't know.
Yeah, Tuesdays it's a happy
Tuesdays is the
hour.
easiest.
It's the best time. Yeah, we make Zay almost look like a little outdoor restaurant, Lanyap kind of vibe. It's super nice.
It is our pop-up restaurant.
And exactly.
And it's owned by Sebastian and
Yeah.
the grass-fed
Which
guys,
is-
which is hilarious.
awesome full
Great.
circle.
exactly. Absolutely. Amazing, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing
Thank you for having
all
us.
your enthusiasm and news. And well, tell people where. I mean, you are the Wolf of Tacos on Instagram.
Yes,
You are on Say on Tuesdays
6
and
to 12.
weekends.
and weekends with a ticket.
Perfect. So I've been there on Tuesdays, and as you mentioned, it's easy. Go there, have 3 tacos, a couple of beers.
6 tacos.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are like French fries.
Exactly. Well, if you have dollar tacos, then we can have 12 tacos.
Slow down.
But no, thanks again for coming. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Remember, we are one of each. We are on all platforms. Thanks for your support, and see you next time. Bye.